guys, so in this video we're going to look at contingency tables and relative frequency, Venn diagrams, and histograms. So we're looking at some different descriptive measures in this module, and so these are ways that we can describe data sets. So we're going to first look at what is called a contingency table, and this example here shows the number of girls that prefer cats to dogs, the number of girls that prefer dogs, the number of boys that prefer cats, and the number of boys that prefer dogs out of a group. So what we want to do is, this obviously tells us a lot of information. We can say, okay, well, how many people prefer dogs? Well, we could take the girls plus the boys is 13. Or, how many girls are there total in the group? 7 plus 8, 15. So there's different things that you can do to kind of gather information from this. Relative frequency is the frequency relative to the total in the group. So we're going to represent that as a fraction here. We want to know the relative frequency of those that prefer dogs. So those that prefer dogs, in this case, there's 10 boys that prefer dogs and 8 girls that prefer dogs. There's a total of 18. And that would be out of the total in the group, which would be 7 plus 8 plus 6 plus 10, which is 31. So this is how we could express a relative frequency. 18 out of 31 prefer dogs. So kind of a simple concept there, and that contingency table helps us to display that pretty easily. Where we can kind of look at it and tell what that is. And that's what these things do. And this is what a Venn diagram does as well, is you can kind of look at it and tell some information, and visually it makes it a little bit easier to understand what's going on rather than trying to explain this in words at times. So in this example, we have a circle that represents English, a circle that represents math, and then they overlap right here. So there's an overlap. The names in the overlapping section are those that are taking both courses. So we're looking at who's taking English, who's taking math. So in the English circle, we have Anne, Brandon, Mike, and Ron. In the math circle, we have Mike, Ron, Harry, Jose, and Amir. And we want to be able to determine some information here. For example, how many take both? So both would be the overlapping region. So that would be right here, Mike or Ron. There's 2 people that take both. How many take math but not English? So that would be in the math circle, but not in the English circle. So we're just looking at these 3 right here, because Mike and Ron are also in the English. So we would be looking at 3 here. So there's some different pieces of information that you can grab pretty quickly from the Venn diagrams as well. So if you wanted to figure out how many there were total, the union of both, you could just add up, obviously, 1 plus 2, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 people total that are either taking math or English. So there are different things that you can look at. And we're going to look at intersection and union later as well in a different video. Okay, so last is the histogram. We're going to look at a data set. These are grades on a test. And we're going to graph this. We're going to represent this graphically. Many of you have probably seen a bar graph before, where you might have dogs, cats, rabbits, and then the number of each, and it just is a bar going up to the number of each one of those items. Well, in a histogram, we can group. We represent that based on different groups. So you have grades on a test between 61 and 70, 71 and 80, 81 and 90, and 91 and 100. The key thing with these is that those intervals have to be the same size. So notice that those are all including 10, is the range of 10 there. And then we're just going to figure out how many are in each group, in each range of scores. So in the 60s, you have 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go up to 3, and we're just going to shade that in. All right, and then 70s, we have 1, 2. So we're going to go up to 2, and I'm going to come right alongside that, so it looks like this. And then 81, 89, we got 2 of those, so we're going to come over and do 2 for that. And then 91 to 100, we have 1, 2, and 3. So we have 100 included in that, so we go up to 3, and I think I went a little high there, but you get the idea. And then we'll shade that in. And this is what a histogram looks like. So it's kind of like a bar graph, but it's grouping into ranges of scores or whatever that data set is representing. and then kind of making a bar graph out of that. Okay, so that's a start for representing some data visually. And in the next video, we'll take it a step further. All right.